Live from the broadcast center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL9 News at 8.
Well, now 8 o'clock, a car crowded with teenagers involved in a horrible crash. One teen is dead. We'll show you exactly what happened.
And stepping up to end gun violence in schools, local students get ready for tomorrow's major rallies in L.A. and across the country.
Another government shutdown has been avoided. Why President Trump changed his mind about Congress's latest spending bill. And thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Jeff Vaughn.
And I'm Elsa Ramon. We begin tonight with developing news in South L.A. Numerous people injured when a second-story balcony collapses and falls 15 to 20 feet to the ground.
We're told some of those injuries were to children. Stu Mundell was overhead in Sky 9 just after it happened.
South Los Angeles, 64th and Wall. A part of this building collapses, injuring at least 6 people. You can see the damage right there. Part of that balcony collapsing. A number of folks, some of them children. LA City Fire out here treating the injured right there. We know 4 patients are going to be taken to the hospital. 2 might be treated here and released. Moments ago, we saw a small child on a stretcher being rushed out to USC Medical Center. Right now, they're still working with the injured. They're going to have to check out that building for structural damage. They don't know how this collapse happened. Again, this happening at 64th and Wall, South Los Angeles. In Sky 9, I'm Stu Mundell.
A teenage boy is dead tonight after a horrible car crash in Tustin. It happened this afternoon on Legacy Road, just across from the district shopping center.
KCAL9 Orange County reporter Michelle Shealy shows you the mangled car that was packed with teenagers.
There were 6 teenagers in the car, as well as a 20-year-old. We are right across the street from the district shopping center, which is on the border of Tustin and Irvine. One boy, a 17-year-old, is dead, according to officials. The 6 others are trauma patients. Witnesses say the car rolled on Legacy Drive, hit the back of a Ryder truck. It is an Acura that holds 5 people. However, 7 were inside. A woman ran up right after the crash.
I just heard a ton of screaming, so I ran over to them, and a few other people ran over too, and they were trying to open up the car door, but no one could get it open. So after the paramedics arrived, one boy got out, and he sat on the curb, so I just ran over to him because he was shooken up, and tried to calm him down. He had a huge gash on his face right here, and then tons of cuts on the other side.
Captain Larry Kurtz with the Orange County Fire Authority says that his crews had to use the jaws of life to get the doors open. How bad was it, Larry?
Units that arrived on scene, the car had all the patients within it, and obviously they couldn't get the doors open, so we utilized the jaws of life. People are familiar with those. Fortunately, it only took us 3 minutes to get the doors torn off of the vehicle. Now, people talk about the golden hour that's very, very important to the saving of life, to get them to a hospital or a trauma center in this case. Fortunately, we were able to get them out quickly. We were able to extricate all 7 people out of the vehicle. 6 were designated traumas by OCFA medics and taken to various trauma centers around Orange County. Unfortunately, we do have the one male teenager who was declared DOA on scene.
Again, that boy who was killed is 17 years old. We don't know yet, however, what city he lives in, or for that matter, all of the other kids who were inside of the car. We know that there were 4 boys and 3 girls. In Tustin, Michelle Shealy, KCAL9 News.
Tonight, local students are getting ready to join teens across the country for major demonstrations demanding an end to gun violence in schools.
KCAL9's Lisa Siegel shows you how they are preparing right now for tomorrow's big march in downtown.
Tomorrow is expected to be a big and powerful day. We are at Grand Park. This is where the march will end. Thousands are expected for March for Our Lives, LA.
Should I make the action bolder?
15-year-old Carly Dutcher and 14-year-old Catherine Lake have a lot on their minds and in their hearts, and they are not staying silent.
We want change. We're tired of this life where we're scared at every turn.
The Columbine survivors, the Parkland survivors, the Sandy Hook survivors, every single person who has gone through a school shooting, we stand by them.
That's why tomorrow, as tens of thousands march on Washington and across the country, they'll join thousands here for March for Our Lives LA, a student-led movement in the wake of the mass school shooting in Florida that ended in the tragic loss of 17 lives. These 2 joined so many others saying enough. They want more done to end gun violence and make schools safer.
We're going to make a difference because we're showing that kids can take action, that adults are not the only ones in charge.
I'm mature enough and intelligent enough and smart enough to know what change needs to be pushed forward.
Now the march begins with a rally at 9 a.m. at 603 South Spring Street. Then at 10, people will march down both Spring and Broadway towards the main stage at Grand Park across from City Hall. All coming together at the end for a full program of speakers and performers.
There's going to be student speakers and survivors, and there's going to be many performers there like Charlie Puth and Rachel Platten, and this is a time for all of us to come together and be one.
And that's what it's about for Catherine and Carly. Yes, they may be young, but they are strong and confident. And tomorrow, their voices will be heard loud and clear.
It's going to be a majority of kids because it's happening to us, not happening to the adults. And that's what's going to make change. We are.
Those girls so passionate about what they're doing. Now there will be road closures around the march, so you want to be prepared for that. And the girls tell me they want everyone to know they simply do not want the next generation to deal with what they're dealing with. Back to you.
Lisa Siegel reporting for us tonight here on KCAL9. Be sure and stay with KCAL9 and KCAL9.com for continuing coverage of tomorrow's March for Our Lives march here in LA and also Washington, D.C.
Orange County will play host to an annual gun show over the weekend. That event will take place at the OC Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa. The gun show's owner, Bob Templeton, told us he does not believe there is a link between gun shows and mass shootings in schools, and the problem is mental illness. However, critics say they feel assault weapons are still too easy to get a hold of, even though they are banned here in California.
The challenge will be for us to be able to find common ground to talk about how we can prevent people who shouldn't have guns, people who have mental health histories.
I don't want to live in a community where I have to worry about my neighbor that has them.
The gun show runs through Sunday.
Part of Latuna Canyon Road near Sun Valley is closed tonight and will remain closed until the weekend, or at least through the weekend, we're told. A 75-foot long chunk of the hillside collapsed during this week's heavy rainfall. Engineers say that they need more time to inspect that area to see if the road is safe for drivers. Crews will start pumping water out of that collapsed area, we're told, tomorrow. No one was hurt in that collapse and no structures were damaged.
Well, have you had enough rain? Yeah. I hope you have, because for now, it is over, at least for now.
A little dry out could be maybe in order, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a much drier forecast. I'll tell you, originally there was a slight chance of a shower possibly early next week, but looks like it's staying to our north even over the weekend. There's low pressure coming in, but looks like the rain is going to stop short. We're just expecting below average temperatures, dry conditions, and as we head into next week, a nice warm up on our hands. So we're going to break that all down for you coming up in a little bit. But first, I do want to show you conditions right now on radar. It's the first time in a few days that we're not seeing green. So it is dry at the moment. And as we get a look at the big picture, you're going to see most of the moisture already pushing well off to the east. Here's that next low we've been talking about sitting over the northern portion of the state between the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Eventually that's going to get closer to us, but stopping short just around Point Conception. So it doesn't look like we're going to see any of that rain here in Southern California, just below average temperatures over the next couple of days. And speaking of temperatures, we are in the 50s and the 60s this evening. 58 as we head to downtown, 60, actually 58 LAX, 60 downtown, and 60 as well for both Ontario and Van Nuys this evening. And wind-wise, mostly calm. Just a little bit of a breeze coming in through Lancaster right now. Temecula 10 miles per hour, in Long Beach at 9 miles per hour. So coming up in a little bit, we're going to show you exactly what to expect for the rest of the weekend, and got a nice little warm up on our hands. We'll let you know how warm we're going to get and how warm it's going to be in your neighborhood. That's all coming up in just a little bit. But for now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Evelyn, thank you. Don't let any weather surprises ruin your weekend. You can download the CBS LA weather app to always stay one step ahead of Mother Nature. It's free on iTunes and Google Play.
And now to a major blow tonight for transgender rights. President Trump issued an order to ban most transgender people from serving in the military, except under some limited circumstances, he says. Now, the president has called for a ban in a tweet last year. His ban for that push has been blocked by several legal challenges. The Pentagon began allowing transgender recruits to start enlisting in January. I have more details coming up on KCAL9 News at 9.
The Riverside County couple accused of torturing their 13 children in a house of horrors faced a judge today. KCAL9's Dave Lopez tells us what happened in court and how the children are being cared for now that their parents are in jail.
It was a quick court appearance today in Riverside for the Turpins, and a family member was in court. but she didn't want to say anything.
We are already set for a preliminary hearing.
Today in a Riverside courtroom, David and Louise Turpin sat feet apart, and for the first time since they have appeared in a courtroom, they were not chained at the hands and feet.
And we have a protective order due to the confidential nature of the records.
In a court session that lasted less than 5 minutes, the county council, which represents the 13 children that were allegedly mistreated, malnourished, and tortured, handed over 2 boxes of evidence that contains information about the 7 adult children and 6 juveniles. Information that was given to the court under seal.
Nothing at all?
The sister of Louise Turpin, Liz Flores, the aunt of the 13 children, was in the courtroom today and outside made it clear she did not want to answer any questions. None. Not even when I asked, have you seen the 7 adult children at all?
It's me, Lacey Swan. This is Songbird. It's over.
And about this online video supposedly made by the 17-year-old daughter of the Turpins, the one who allegedly escaped from the home and called police, no one wanted to answer any questions about that. The aunt, or the prosecutor, or the defense attorneys. We can confirm that the 7 adult children, the oldest being 29, have all been released from the hospital, and they are living under one roof with adult supervision. We are told that they are confined mostly to the property where they're living, and they never go anywhere without supervision. As for the 6 juveniles, sources not authorized to speak on the record have told us that all 6 children have also been released from the hospital and are living in 2 separate foster homes, but they see each other often. Meanwhile, their mom and dad remain in jail, $12 million bail each. The next time the Turpins are due in court is May 4th, when more evidence will be exchanged between the prosecution and the defense. The prosecutor told me today he is ready to begin this prelim on May 14th. When I asked the defense, are they ready? No response. From Riverside, Dave Lopez, KCAL9 News.
Hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons has been hit with another sexual assault lawsuit. A woman known only as Jane Doe filed a $10 million suit today in Los Angeles, accusing Simmons of raping her in a hotel room. Woman says the two met at a concert and later went to an after-party together. She claims they ended up in a hotel room where Simmons threw her onto a bed and then sexually assaulted her. Simmons has been accused of at least now 9 women of various forms of sexual misconduct. He says he's innocent of all those allegations.
I know people get really excited about this. New emojis could soon be headed to your iPhone.
This can make it harder to find, right? Apple's
Yes.
plan to highlight a group of people who are often overlooked with these emojis. We'll have that coming up. But first, here's Evelyn.
And we're getting a look outside right now at the Santa Monica Pier, and the beautiful Ferris wheel lit up tonight dry, and a lot of people enjoying the dry after the rain. We're going to have your forecast for the rest of the weekend and your work week coming up.
President Trump walks back his threat to shut down the federal government. I'm Mola Lengi at the White House with what changed the president's mind about Congress's spending bill.
Then a suspected robber caught on camera in Orange County. Though he hasn't been found, he's still out of luck, and find out why later here on KCAL9.
But first, here's a look at the best of LA and Orange County tonight on KCAL9.com, where we are always on. KCAL9 News at 8. We'll be right back.